Right, advanced drawing. I think we're live. I think we're good. We're going to start this, try this maybe one more time here. And if this doesn't work, then I'm going home. No, I think everything's set up here. Look, I tried to kind of talk to you guys earlier on Tuesday, and I know it was a very quick class. And I know everybody was super zonked because drawing the human head is so exciting. It almost blows you guys away and you have no energy. But look, we do have a full day Wednesday. We do have a full day Thursday. And interestingly, this Friday is a half day because it wraps up our very last card marking together, in which you guys are going to have some progress reports sent home, just documenting how much progress you've made in the last six weeks together. Now, this is kind of important because already here today, you've only had one drawing, and that might not seem like a lot, but considering how much time that we've actually been together, 17, 18 days, I think it's a pretty safe assumption. Now, the problem is if you only have your drawing, or for some reason you didn't turn it in, then you really don't have a lot of evidence of how much progress you've made. And this might be really important to you, because this might be the only thing that you're going to be able to show that you have made progress on. And that is the human skull. Now, we've been talking about this Andrew Loomis method of drawing the head. And basically the idea, the concept is, and I can kind of bring it up here on my iPad, the idea or the concept is to break down the head into certain sizes or certain increments, and then mathematically visually make these measurements where there's facial landmarks and make sure everything lines up. Now, I'm going to ask you guys to actually do this today and possibly tomorrow. We'll see how this goes depending on how many submissions I get and what type of feedback I get. But I think you guys can handle this, considering the different types of applications that I'm going to give you guys, the different types of resources, I should say, that I'm going to give to you guys to actually do this. Now, on my screen, you'll notice that I have my website, Mr. Pappas Teach, brought up here, and I have this very interesting little, it looks like video of a skull. Actually, this isn't a video at all. It's a little 3D plugin that you guys can manipulate if you so choose to use a laptop from this classroom. Now, the only drawback to this as this little plugin loads is that it's not fully 3D. What I mean by that is, even though the skull looks really realistic and I can kind of click and drag this around. Oh, actually, yeah, we do have it. Okay, at my home computer, I could only rotate the skull. I couldn't do anything else because the Chrome browser wasn't allowing me, or there wasn't an update. But here I can rotate the whole thing 360 degrees, 180 degrees, backwards, frontwards, tilt it up, tilt it down, whatever I want to do. Now, this is one way of getting a 3D skull in your hands. Another way, maybe a little bit more personal way, instead of using one of the laptops, is to go online, and I'll zoom out here because I did have a video kind of documenting the app, but maybe more importantly, I could show you guys the app. On the 6 iPads I have back here, I installed the free application called 3D Skull Atlas. Now, the nice thing about this application is it's available on every platform. It's available on iOS or Apple devices, and it's also available on Google Android devices. Now, if you don't have one of those phones, if you're the slim few that has like a Microsoft phone or maybe a flip phone, I don't know, then all you got to do is use the device here or the laptop here to access this. It's completely free. It's located on my website, or you can download the app yourself and manipulate. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Manipulate the same way you would be manipulating on my website. Instead of using a mouse, though, you're using your finger. Now, this is all well and fine, and it's kind of fun to play around with and play with the different options, but what are you drawing? What's the point to this, all right? Well, I go back to my website here. There we go. You'll notice today I've listed 6 different styles or views that I'd like you guys to draw. First one's pretty straightforward, a front-facing view, and I made a note here. It should be the easiest because we already actually did this. The second one and the third one, right-facing and left-facing, are just the same exact thing. The only difference here is one's facing to the right and one's facing to the right, or left. Whoops, sorry, misspoke there. Now, the right-facing 3/4 profile and the left-facing 3/4 profile simply means, I'll zoom in here, that when I turn this skull, it's not completely staring at me, but it's also not completely going to the right or the left of the viewer. Matter of fact, it's sort of here. I don't want to say on an angle, but it is in a way that makes you kind of see some side a little bit more and another side a little bit less. That would be your 3/4 view. And I'm asking you for one pointing to the right and then one pointing, oh, there we go, my mouse is a little jumpy, one pointing to the left, the opposite direction. Now the one that I have a challenge for you on is here. Maybe if I can make this screen just a little bit bigger here. Let's make this full screen. I'm also looking for you guys to be able to represent the skull from behind. And when the app pops up here, I'll show you a little bit better what I'm talking about. This whole Loomis method is a very interesting technique that allows you to draw the human skull with very simple shapes and lines and showing where things need to be. Now, one thing I don't want you guys to get confused here is I'm not asking you to draw a skull. What I'm asking you to do is practice the Andrew Loomis method of drawing the head by using the 3D skull that you can manipulate either on my webpage or on your own app, and try to figure out, well, my mouse is a little jumpy here, try to figure out what lines would be drawn and what lines would be missing, what lines you could see and what lines you wouldn't be able to see based on the view that you're looking at. Now, the nice thing about this application is you are getting a human skull with all the little cracks, all the little parts to it. It's there. And the cool thing is you can see everything. The scary thing is this might be a little bit too much detail for some of you guys, and you might feel obligated to start drawing things like the nasal cavity or the eye sockets, the cranial bones. Not the cranial bones, but the mandible and stuff like that. And that's not what I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you simply to show the Andrew Loomis method, which is this method right here. Now, additionally, part of this challenge, part of what I'm asking you to be able to do is prove to me that you understand the Andrew Loomis method by lining up both of these different views together so that you can show the lines that go across. Maybe I should show you guys an example of this. From our notes, I have a front-facing skull and I have a profile-facing skull. And you'll notice that every line matches up. The eye line matches up, the nose matches up, the brow, the top of the skull, the bottom of the chin. This is what I'm requiring from you guys on all 6. That is all 6. I know there's a blank one on number 7. That's going to be a little secret here. But on all 6 of these, I would like you guys to get them so that they line up and you guys can show the measurements, the visual measurements, the lines that match up. Now, a couple people are going to ask, well, that means you want us to draw these really, really small. No, I actually want you guys to draw these really, really big. So what I'd like you to do here is keep to the theme of 2 drawings per piece of paper. If that means you're using the pieces of paper over here, then that probably means you're drawing a relatively large size. If you're using the sketchbook sheets inside your own sketchbook, then you're kind of limited to the size of the paper that you've got there. But I want you to show these drawings and I want you to show these viewpoints 2 per paper. That means if you've got 6 views, you're going to have 3 sheets of paper used. 2 views per sheet of paper, that means 3 sheets of paper. All right? Now, all of this information can be found on my website, and odds are if you're watching this video, then you already made it to my website. But I want to make sure that you guys understand what you guys are being held accountable for. Now, at the end of this class period, I am going to require that you guys turn these in. It's my expectation that if you guys are taking your time on this and you're mapping out everything as carefully as you possibly can, one day should be dedicated to the first 3 right here, and one day should be dedicated to the last 3. However, if I get email submissions where everybody's got them all done in one day, then we'll move on. I don't want your guys' time to be wasted. However, at the same time, if you guys are slow playing yourself and you're just kind of inching your way along and some of the stuff that you are doing is not necessarily falling in line with what my expectations are, then you can expect to have another assignment come Friday. Now, Friday's a half day and it's the end of the progress report card. That doesn't necessarily mean that I can't assign a project in that 24 minutes. I'm hoping that you guys aren't going to force my hand here. I'm hoping that the next 2 days that I'm out of the classroom, you guys can work adamantly on trying to draw the Loomis method using the 3D skulls, because you want to learn how to draw. You didn't just take this class as a blow-off. I know that's not the case, but I want to just kind of drive that point home. All right. Now, before this video gets too long, I'm going to sign off here and just kind of remind you guys that at the end of the hour, I will expect to see an email from you guys just showing me your drawings and the progress that you've made so far. At the end of Wednesday's class, I expect the first 3. At the end of Thursday's class, I expect the last 3. If you can get them all done in one day, great, send them. Maybe I can give you guys a little bit of feedback and stuff to look for. If you guys are going to slow play me, then you can expect to see an assignment on Friday, and Friday's a short amount of time to get anything done. So let's hope for that not to happen, all right? I'm going to sign off here and say goodbye and good luck.